actress. I'm actually known in the field. I'm what is known as a character actress, in the sense that I can play personality, but I can also play character. So, for example, when I played the mother in Violated, which was, I think it was in 1990-something, I was just in my 30s, and I was playing this woman of 50-something, and in her early 60s. That's character acting. Now, the thing with me as an actress is that I can cry on stage, because the technique of stage is such that you start from the beginning and you go right to the end. You spend like 4 weeks in rehearsal. Do you understand? But for television is, short scenes, shoot and cut, and that's it. And you can start from any part of the script. You can do several takes. Now, for me, for television or for camera, so whether it's film or television, is the fact that once you do the first take, I will cry. All right? But then if you have to do a second take, I'm in trouble. I can't cry for the second take. And now of course there are all kinds of things that we do, to cheat. But if it's a close-up, you really can't cheat. The tears have to come.
Especially with high definition.
Sorry?
Especially with high definition.
Thank you. And I remember there was one day I was in a dreadful quandary. I had this part, the camera was really close, and I had to cry. I had cried the first 2 takes. This was the 3rd take, and that was because somebody had messed up their lines, and we had to do a 3rd take, and I had to cry. My eyes were as dry as. And I tried everything, there was no tears were coming. I was working with Omotola Jolani King. So she said, "Auntie, come." Pulled me to a corner and taught me a technique. And I looked at her. She said, that's what you got to do. Just try it. And so I stood there and I tried it, and it worked. And I always give her this, I always credit to her. I learned how to cry. I can cry at the drop of a hat now. And I learned it from No. But so what am I trying to say basically is that we keep on learning, and we can learn from anybody. Every day there's something to learn. Keep on training, there are just so many interesting things, so many new things that will come up in whatever field it is that you're doing. All right? So basically that's it. If there's anything you take away from what I've said today, I'd just like you to go away with one thing. It's something that I've lived by all my entire life. There's a little line that it's really controversial because people are not sure whether it was Louisa Alcott or somebody else. But it's this line: hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Thank you. So, any questions?
Sincerely, first of all, I think we're too much. I did some theater in high school and early college. I didn't know what the heck I was trying to do. But I'm not insulting it at all. I really liked it. And when I got on stage, I was doing The Wizard of Oz, and I was Oz. Okay. It was so exciting to make people laugh, and the feeling is unbelievable, honestly. And then but what do you do? But later on, I'm gonna get to the point.
Okay,
But later on, I experienced what it was like to be in a bad production, where the guy was trying to do Macbeth, except in the future. and with the roles reversed, as in the female and male roles reversed.
That's odd.
And then I got like the part of Portia, and so like
Portia, that's Merchant of Venice.
No, Portia. I believe.
Merchant of Venice.
I'm talking about I don't know. Either way, she was the wife of one of the. It was Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar. Okay.
Yeah, it was in Julius Caesar, the wife of Brutus.
Okay.
And so, or in this case, the husband of Brutus. So, like, the production was god awful. And then the next year, he wanted to do Macbeth, and then so I decided to just stop. I just quit the class, like, in the middle of the thing, and I didn't even tell him, like, because the guy was a really mean director.
Okay.
So I wanted him to not know that I was missing for all. Okay, that's a bit mean, but the point I'm getting at is you must have had some productions where you just didn't agree with anything that was going on, but professionally you had to gut it through, and you didn't have the option because of not being like a college student like I was, as in and not just having the option to just stop it because you're a professional. What got you through those performances? And like, and even though you thought that they were maybe just, what got you through those tough performances?
Yes, I did a lot of, I can be very picky about the scripts that I do, but I also know that I did quite a lot of scripts to survive. And usually my survival scripts, I won't lie. And I feel very sorry for those producers. I will do the production and do it to the best of my ability, and then I pray it will never stop. And they don't. But I understand what you mean now. It's just like you mentioned, just being as professional as possible. I get, and usually on those kinds of sets, I give them a time. They come to me and they say, oh, madam, we need you for so many days. All right? And for all productions that I go on, I give you an extra 2 days on top of the days that you say you need me, because I know anything can happen on production. Now, if it's a production that I don't like, I will make sure that apart from making sure that I get to work on time, I'm on time, prepared, and everything. Those 2 extra days that I give you, when it's over, it's over. You cannot force me to stay an extra minute. So that that's if it's a production that I like and I like the production values and everything, even if you ask for a week, I'll stay on. You understand? But I think there's nothing you do that you just have to be your best at it, because actually there are times when sometimes it's those jobs that somebody sees and says, I like that. Okay? Or, oh, she stands out in that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that goes with any job. Don't always do your job to the best of your ability, even if you hate it. If you hate the people you're working with or something. Yeah.
All right. I have 3 questions and we'll go with it.
3? Wow!
Okay, very brief. One, how have you been able to deal with your brand? As it is that we have young people coming up, and you have Genevieve and the likes of Motoa. And how have you been able to thrive in the industry so far? Because so far, you have targeted a different kind of market. You target a different kind of target audience so far. And then these people are coming up really very fast. How have you been able to handle that? That's one. Secondly, what provisions have you made to building a protege? Because I reckon certain people who have gotten into this industry have not learned the way you have. From what I researched, you've gone further to learn studies in the UK, and then you do art in Nigeria, and then you also do this and that. And then what have you made, what provisions? Because you always have people who want to be like you here in Nigeria, and you have the future actors and actresses who eventually should be able to take the limelight in your path. And what provisions have you made for these people? And finally, how have you been able to merge being a mother? Because some women will just stop at being married, and then after being married, they're like, hey, God. And then they just stop. But you will go for that to continue your career as a mother of 2 children. That's hard. How have you managed that so far?
Okay, for all the women in the house, all the married women in the house, where are all the married women in the house? Please put your hands up. Married women in the house with children, put your hands up. Married women with children in the house, put your hands up. You work, you have your children. No rocket science. Mrs. Wright there, we grew up together. Our mothers worked. You know, they had time for us. So it was for us, it's not, I always find that question a bit odd. You know, how do you manage motherhood and working? In Nigeria, most women do not have a choice. The economy, you need the earnings of both parties to have a respectable standard of living anyway. So, you know, I really don't see that as a heavy achievement. You know, if you know how to organize, if you have backup, and when I say backup, good house helps and, you know, domestic help, and you organize yourself properly, it's really not rocket science, okay? I think, and also understand what is important, you know, knowing that your children and your family are, you know, there's God, your family, work, in that order, you know. So that's the last question first. Then the middle question. Actually, we have a school. It's one of a group of companies. It's called the Lukudo Academy of Performing Arts. We're on the JAM brochure, we're on the JAM website, and we also are accredited by the Nigerian Board of Technical Education. And we're now working to get our international accreditation, you know. So we've got a training school, you know, to do that. How have I been able to keep my brand with all those that are coming up? It's pretty easy, especially in entertainment. Really, it's really not. I mean, in entertainment, you will always have parts for as long as you live. You know, because I'm in my middle ages now. I'll be playing, and then I told you that in my 30s I started playing 50s, and then I started taking all these old women's parts. And so it's kind of, you know. Now, thank God, I still get those parts. You get all the Genevieves and they're much younger than me, so we cannot compete for the same time. It's not possible. It's not possible, you know. But I think also what is pretty important, especially for us in entertainment, is that you have to, it can be a bit pressurizing. You have to be careful how you behave outside, and equally inside your home. It's funny because when you have backup, you know, the stories that you hear may not actually be coming from people outside, they'll be coming from people in your home. Now, how are you able to handle that pressure? I must say that for us, it's the grace of God. If nothing else, it's the grace of God. You know, and trying to live by the principles that the Lord Almighty set for us. Simple as that, really. That's it. Any other questions? Yes.